I'm the editor of City Hall and the Capitol. We're really pleased to be participating in this series with TD Bank. And because you're not here to hear me speak, and anyway, we've got a little bit of feedback going, I'm going to just turn it over to the speakers in a second, just to give you a sense of how this will go. The idea here is to have a conversation between these two gentlemen up on the stage. They're going to get talking. I'm going to do what I can to get them talking about some of the things that we're all interested about when we talk about homelessness. And then hopefully there'll be time, and towards the end we'll get some questions from you for the two of them. So if there are things that we touch on along the way or things that we don't, make a note of them, and hopefully we'll get a chance to get to them towards the end. But I think what we'll do just to start is, and you can fight amongst yourselves who starts here. But let's frame the issues here. When we talk about homelessness in New York, what is it that we're talking about? What is it that we should be talking about? And when we think about solutions or methods of dealing with homelessness, what are the things that you think should be in the conversation?
Sure. First, I want to thank City Hall and the Capitol for hosting us, and TD Bank for providing this great setting. I was thinking when I was coming in that this is the sort of the first time I've gotten past the banking machines at a bank in a long time. I don't know if that's something bad for the economy or bad for me. That's the first time. But anyway, it's a pleasure to be here. And Arnold and I have developed a good relationship. We don't always agree on everything, but we have a very cordial relationship, and we hope that this will be an informative practice for everyone. And so let me just take a couple minutes to hit on some of the points that you mentioned. I have the privilege of serving as the head of the Department of Homeless Services, and in the past administrations, that role was really confined to running the city shelter system. But because of major investments that have been made under the Bloomberg administration, we have really a much expanded portfolio, which goes beyond just the day-to-day administration of a very large shelter system. First, it includes something that's called prevention. And I think one of the things, not the only thing, but one of the things that Arnold and I will agree on is that it's best to prevent homelessness. If you can keep people in their homes, in the communities, and out of shelter, that's a better result for everyone. It's certainly better for the families and the individuals involved. It's better and more fiscally responsible for the city. And so the administration has really made a major investment in developing a network of offices throughout the city to prevent homelessness. There are currently 13 storefront offices. There's also a variety of legal prevention offices, all with the goal of keeping people out of shelter and in the community. And they've been very successful at serving large numbers of people and helping stabilize communities throughout the city. So the prevention efforts are really a hallmark of the administration, something that I think has set a new standard for the way we deal with homelessness and really has influenced thinking across the country, including in the Obama administration, which released a homelessness report over the summer, in which prevention was one of the key themes. In terms of shelter, obviously we run a large shelter system, the largest and best in the country. And what we've emphasized in past years is moving people quickly as possible out of shelter into the community. We believe that shelter should be a short-term intervention, that it's best for families and individuals who are in shelter to move and relocate as quickly as possible, but to do it in a way that ensures and helps ensure their success when they get back into it. And the best way we think to do that is to link them first with employment, which provides not only economic support, but also stability and grounding, and will help them as they move into the community. And then a range of other kinds of supports, from rental assistance that's tied to working to other kinds of work supports that the city offers, which include child care, child support, food stamps, and other kinds of supports that are available, and really are a help to particularly to the low-income population as they get into the work world, to help stabilize and allow them to advance. And we think that this combination of supporting work, supporting people who are working, helping get them stabilized in the community, and working with them to stay there has been very effective. And very happy that the shelter population, while we face tremendous challenges from the economy and from a wide variety of places, has been going in the right direction. And overall, the population is 5% lower than it was a year ago, and nearly 10% lower for the families that we serve. So we think in the face of tremendous economic challenges, we've been able to make a real difference. It's a combination to the great work that the people at DHS do every day. They fight very hard on behalf of people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness, to work with them. And it's a great testament to the people in shelter who want to get back into the community and stay there, and we want to support them at every step of the way.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I recall that. And I do think Seth made rosy predicted and what's happening in fact today in the city, but I think that's something to have a discussion about, particularly prevention and work and the shelter population. So I too also want to thank TD Bank, Isaac, the city capital for inviting us here today. Also, I think most importantly, is really putting homelessness on the agenda. And the reason why I think that's important, I really appreciate that this is one of your three topics that you're, during the course of the year that we're having a discussion on, is because the perception, the public perception about homelessness, not only here in New York City, but across the nation, is that it's just an inevitable part of our urban landscape. We have come as a city, as a country, to accept homelessness. And what does that mean? That means we accept well over nearly 2 million Americans every year without a home, living in the street, living in a shelter. What does it mean for New York City? Let's look at the shelter population. It's going to be a snapshot of the current shelter population. Right now, as we sit here next to Africa, probably close to 15,000 children will be waking up in New York City shelter. Half of them, perhaps more than half, will be trying to go to school today, hopefully come to school. There's enough school-age children in shelter today to fill 13 elementary schools, 8 middle schools, and 2 high schools. And I think the perception isn't simply something that we need to correct through education, through these kind of discussions, because the perception is a result of our failures. And I don't like to use failure, it's a very strong word, and I don't mean Seth's failure, Homeless Services failure, our collective failure. Our collective failure to come to grips with real solutions is what we've been doing for decades in this city and around this nation, is focusing on shelter, thinking of homelessness in terms of crisis management. And it's as if we are doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. I don't need to tell you what that defines. So instead, let's talk a little bit about the Bloomberg administration when it came into office. Instead, what we need to do is really change the perception by changing the reality. And the reality is that we now need to look at how do we actually find, for folks that are in the shelter, falling into homelessness on the street, long-term sustainability. And it starts with housing. First step. And I think that's the struggle we're having here as a city, is the dearth of affordable housing as a first step to really solving this problem. So what has the Bloomberg administration done? A couple of things. When the mayor first took office, he announced rather boldly that he's going to reduce the shelter population by 2/3. Terrific, bold statement, a goal that he set for himself and his administration and Department of Homeless Services. I think what happened was, perhaps at the start, the mayor probably didn't understand or know that for decades his predecessors did really nothing to create the foundation from which he could then be successful. So what happened? He needed a significant investment. And did he put that investment in terms of homeless services? Let's take a look. In terms of housing, he did his new marketplace housing initiative was a very small amount of housing dedicated to folks who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And in fact, not too long ago, the Independent Budget Office announced or reported that the mayor already declared that he met his low-income housing targets. If we actually take a look at what happened during the mayor's administration, there's a net loss of about 200,000 affordable units, largely because of debt deregulation. So in terms of affordability, we have less affordable housing than the mayor first took office, even though now he's declared that in fact he's met his low-income housing targets. As to prevention, we'll talk a little bit about that discussion about, so I don't want this to be monologues from each of us.